One of my best case studies on strategy that I've done, which I've contributed a lot of work on it, monitor, research, and so on. I've attained some data from different organizations and built up insights, was Rabea Tea. You know, to begin with, when Rabea Tea decided to revisit their strategy from that long leave and long time experience, and they felt like they should attract the millennials, and they did that fest events and all that stuff, and so on. They embarked on a lot of communications, advertising, PR, and so on. The whole entire story of the whole entire journey, I was monitoring, and I was just couldn't get it. Where are they heading with all this? And then all of a sudden, when they started introducing different types of SKUs, which is the type of products that they have, from a loose leaf to a tea bag. They had tea bag before, which is called Rabea Express. But then they decided everything that's not in a bag should be in a bag. And then they introduced flavor teas. So the SKUs extended enormously. Enormously. The most focused brand ended up being unfocused. Then all of a sudden, they decided, after all this, they decided to contact a branding agency in Jeddah to do some design work for them. So they did the design work. But the question that stays there, and in my mind, in my heart till today, how do you change your product mix? I mean, you have to have a great knowledge of marketing in order to understand how marketing mix works. So if you don't know how it works, it means you don't know marketing. So how do you change all your product mix without changing the brand? Beats me. Absolutely beats me. The look and feel and the essence of the brand is still the way it was like 40, 50 years ago. But you decided to change the marketing mix without changing the brand. And you expect consumers, all right, to react, which is the younger audience. How in the world? Which logic in the world says this? Is the craziest case study I've ever seen. And these people are people that call themselves marketeers who worked in multinationals. Tabi Habibi, if you worked in a multinational, practice it right. Practice it right. It's people's money. These organizations have earned their money. Whether the CEO is incorrect, whether the CEO is the one who invited this, morally you should say no. Brand needs to change before marketing mix. Brand comes before marketing. But no. And as long as we please the management and the board, and we call ourselves marketeers and branding and all that, then why are we working? And you know well that the head of the CEO most likely does not understand how brand works, and most likely the board does not understand how brand works. Even if there's one member inside the board that comes from a multinationals, from a marketing background, most likely does not understand how brands work. Because in multinationals, all you get is the guideline, which is the brand asset, and that brand asset is what you manage, the relationship between you and the agency. But brand is much bigger than that, a lot bigger. There's a difference between a brand strategy and the asset management. Two different roles. But when you think and you assume that your guideline, that's your brand strategy, that is utterly crazy. And that's what most people make mistakes on. Now, so you moved your product mix, all these, and you kept the brand as is. How? Second, you have the weakest line of distribution, but you extended on number of SKUs. Goes back to the point of marketing mix, which are your channels. So don't increase on your product line unless you improve your channels, because you're gonna hit bottom rock. Third, why would you go and put everything in a tea bag while Lipton, the strongest brand, is in tea bag? You literally validated Lipton's strength. You literally told all of us that Lipton is awesome. You really told us inside the value and experience that Lipton is a legacy. But you might come back and say, you know what? I'll go a higher price. Well, it makes sense. It makes sense. Because literally you're an affluent brand from the beginning. But that's not what you did. You went equal to Lipton. And then you come and say, I'm not competing with Lipton. Tabi Habibi, if you're not competing with Lipton, why did you go into tea bags? Rabea Tea exercise is one of the best exercises you can learn on strategy, both on brand and marketing mix. Don't miss it. I love it. It's one of my favorites. And actually, I travel around and give this case example to a lot of FMCGs so they avoid this mistake. is the best example on marketing mix and brand. And unfortunately, the agency that also worked with them, the communication agency or the advertising agency, is one of the most reputable agencies in the world. And it shocks me that that agency embarks on the same thing. That tells you the agency does not even understand what brand is. Forget the branding agency. I mean, that's a very generic branding agency. It transformed itself from a design to just a brand. It just goes by trend. Who cares? But these exercises are crazy, utterly crazy. Have a good one.